Singing happy birthday to the grandpa they've barely even seen. And within hours of that happening, that was leaked by the Sussex side of things to, favourite media. And that really crossed a line in the sand for the royal family.
Fact.
Because so very little of their lives are genuinely private.
Yeah.
So much is lived in public or surrounded by people, even staff, watching them what they do. And so private conversations, particularly private phone calls, are really considered just...
What is he doing?
...that. And that's why Harry's spare memoir, was so damaging and so broke a bond of trust. So it was made very clear to me the King was really disappointed and was really hoping that wouldn't happen again. If...
Stop it.
And I genuinely don't know whether it has, if any other such call happened, which is why I don't think we found out about it.
Maybe there's a chance he finally got the message and he's, as you said earlier, he's kind of proving himself a little bit, Harry, by the sounds of things. Maybe a call to take place and finally he's keeping it a secret. He's learnt to keep
I think
secrets.
that's very possible, and I think they were certainly, I know, very encouraged by the fact that he didn't bring out an extra chapter with the paperback version of Spare or do any interviews to accompany it. That came as a big surprise.
Fact.
I mean, I had someone call me and say, "Are you sure you're right in saying that?" I was like, no, he definitely isn't.
To be fair, we should say that that's not due to be published till next month, so there's, we'll still see.
Finally learning not to
Wait for it.
infringe his own privacy.
Yeah.
It's like,
well,
the
watch
great
this space.
irony. Yeah. Now, Richard, whether or not you agree with it, it does seem to feel like there are voices emerging on both sides of,
What?
here and the Atlantic and America, that there is talk of at least the idea of some sort of rapprochement.
Well, certainly it's become increasingly clear that Harry is desperate, that he wants that, reunion with the royal family, not necessarily to, come back permanently or whatever, but to at least get things on a more civilised level. And I do think that those birthday wishes indicate that the royal family is responding to that. So,
Are you serious?
we'll see where this takes us.
Now, Charlotte, you never disappoint when it comes to bringing the mischief, and you wrote a piece at the weekend listing the 40 people for his 40th that Harry would have to make up with before he could have a role in England again.
40 people.
It took quite a long time to write down 40 people, so God knows how long it'll take him to actually make up with 40 people.
Well, I won't ask you to name them all now, but other than the key players, who do you think would be a key mediator in that scenario?
Very good question.
There are so many it could be. I think one of them is Mark Dyer, because Mark Dyer is Harry's closest friend, really. He's a little bit older than Harry, and he's like a sort of mentor, godfather, father figure in his life. And he's also a sensible army man, and he's very much on Team Harry. So
he's serious old, man.
Harry will trust him, and Harry really trusts him. But I can see him communicating with William, because William will understand that he's a sort of reasonable army, sensible head on his shoulders, and he's always given Harry good advice. Harry's not always listened.
Fact.
So that's a glimmer of hope there. And the other one is Tom Van Strabansy, because there's this...
Sorry, what's that name?
Tom Van Strabansy.
Well done.
I can spell it too, which I learned when I wrote that piece. Yeah. I think it's always fascinated me that William is...
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
...best friends with Tom Van Strabansy, and Harry is truly best friends with Tom's brother, Charlie Van Strabansy. And
I love posh names.
I know. And Charlie's wife is one of the few people that Meghan is friends with in the UK, and one of the very few women that she really kept in touch with. And I just think those Van Strabansy boys, I'll just say it one more time, could really be the kind of, mediators, because they've got one each, the warring brothers, and they...
Stop it.
They could be brought together, and they did. They used to hang out the whole time and be a real squad.
Everyone should have a Van Strabansy. Oh. Everyone.
I think we've said it 6 times now.
Exactly. Well, now, Rebecca, this could be put to the test, because isn't Harry coming back to England, we understand?
He is coming back on September the 30th in his role as kind of global ambassador for Well Child, which is actually a brilliant charity that looks after, seriously ill children and the families and the people that care for them. And it's a charity he's been involved in. Gosh, I remember covering engagements with him there, must be 15 17 years ago. So, and it's one he's been passionate about. And he normally comes back for their annual award ceremony each year, and he is doing it. They've confirmed it now this year. He's going to be giving a speech, presenting an award. Obviously, a lot of speculation about whether there might be family reunions at the same time, but I wouldn't necessarily count on that.
Well, King Charles is unlikely to be in London at that time, isn't he? So do you think they'll see each other, or is it a case of people whispering about royal conciliations, getting a bit overexcited?
I suspect there's a bit of either wishful thinking, stroke, people being overexcited. So the King and Queen Camilla have got a big engagement in Scotland on the Saturday. They're going to the Scottish Parliament. So
Are you serious?
very significant event. Harry's event's on the Monday, and while no one's saying quite yet, I've been led to understand that the chances are he will be staying in Scotland. So there could be a change, but unless
Wait for it.
it would Harry be having to go up and see him, and I think that's quite unlikely he'll do that.
Well, Richard, it seems that the Sussexes still have lots to think about at home, because there was a rather, I'd say, savage story in
Wait for it.
The Hollywood Reporter about a certain Duchess Difficult.
Gosh, yeah. I mean, the Hollywood Reporter is a respected publication. It's not very sensationalist. You know, it reports on all the industry in Hollywood. The language in this report, essentially, it was about how staff have found it working for Harry and Meghan, and particularly Meghan. And the quotes in there, I mean, you know, are we even allowed to repeat them? You know, they were calling a Duchess difficult, and there was one...
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
Source was saying that they had witnessed Meghan making a grown man cry. Not Harry, by the way, was crying. It was someone else.
Okay.
And yeah, it was strong stuff. And I should say,
I want to see that ping pong ball on the top of the crown, all right? Do you remember that?
I do. I wrote that story, how they kind of did the electrolysis and gold dipped the ping pong ball to make the centre of the coronet. But you will never see Prince William in that, I'm afraid.
It's just sad times. Sad times. Well, all questions are welcome, so please do keep them coming in. Now to the King now, and you all seem to love the video of Charles hugging the New Zealand women's rugby team last week, including Barbara...
Wait for it.
Justice, who had this to say: if you've been following King Charles as I have over the years, we're close in age, you must know that he likes women, and his look of delight when these young women hugged him only proves that. Go Charlie. All sounding a bit pervy, but anyway, go Charlie indeed. Please do keep those comments coming in. Now, Prince Harry turned 40 this week. Gosh, we're all getting old. I'm not sure he's the biggest fan of Palace Confidential, but we will wish him happy birthday anyway. Now, Richard, followers of the royals on social media might be surprised to see them also wish him a happy birthday on social media. Now, I don't want to use the phrase olive branch because it's overused and done to death, but...
That doesn't make sense.
Tell us, what is this story all about?
Yeah, this is genuinely interesting and significant, and there'd been speculation before about, you know, how would the royal family remember Harry's birthday? Would they mark it at all? And it turns out, yes, they did. So the official social media accounts for the royal family wished him a happy birthday, and then they were reposted pretty much by the Kensington Palace one for Prince and Princess of Wales.
Wow! Yes, I think a lot of people might have been particularly surprised to see William and Catherine get involved.
Yes, I mean, obviously it wasn't just their own post, you know, it was pretty much just reposting, but it showed that it was clearly a coordinated decision. There have been lots of people who've said, no, it's not significant at all, it's just because it's a landmark birthday, and they've said, oh, Queen Elizabeth had a policy of not marking birthdays of people who are not working royals, except for when it's a landmark birthday.
Okay.
But anyway...
I think I follow. Yeah.
But anyway, that's simply not true. There have been lots of examples in the past of birthdays such as Princess Beatrice's, where there's been some official sort of happy birthday
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
wishes. So that's really not the case. So the truth is, it is significant. And from what I've been told, it is a reward. It's a reward for Harry not writing a new chapter, no new revelations in his book Spare, and he's not going to give any interviews to promote this book. So it's their way of sort of thank you and a quid pro quo.
A pat on the head. I mean, you can only imagine.
What?
Sort of like the groaning meetings, like, we've got to do something. We've got to do something. Don't you think?
I wrote about that in the paper on Monday, because that's exactly what happened at the palace when Harry and Meghan acrimoniously quit and up sticks. And there was an actual physical debate about this. What do we do? And part of the problem is they didn't have enough pictures of them to keep on basically attaching to birthday wishes.
Well, there was an interesting picture choice. And
Are you serious?
there was a lot of discussion about it, wasn't there?
There was, yeah. I mean, I spotted that straight away because I was out there when that picture was taken. It was taken in 2018, just after Harry and Meghan got married, and they went to Ireland for an official visit. And I remember, because I was actually up with them at the job before that, and I suddenly thought, actually, hold on a minute, she would have been in that picture because they were glued to the hip. So I kind of went back and had a look at the picture, and lo and behold,
Wait for it.
the actual original scene, Meghan was sat next to Harry. But in the cropped picture, and it's important to stress the photographer did this, not Buckingham Palace, the cropped picture, it just showed Harry smiling and laughing on his own.
What? Are you serious?
But it was, you know...
I need the EastEnders theme tune now.
No, but
It
come on,
was
it's
amusing.
Harry's birthday.
It was
It's not-
exactly. That's why
it's not Meghan's birthday.
Exactly.
Is it?
I agree. I mean, it amused me rather than it being anything, I think, overly, you know, anything massive to read into.
That doesn't make sense.
And just to clarify, William and Catherine did wish Harry happy birthday. Like,
yes,
personally.
they did, from
Yeah.
their official account. We don't know what happened in private, or
Right.
whether they sent a nice present or a card or anything. But maybe we'll find out from Harry and Meghan eventually.
Yes, in the next book or Netflix show or Spotify
Exactly.
podcast or something. But now, Charlotte, there's also been much speculation about whether or not there would be a call between Harry and his father.
Stop it.
People magazine have told us the pair aren't speaking at the moment, but in Vanity Fair it said there would be a call. I'm so confused. What's the truth?
Well, it was his birthday on Sunday, and we're now on Thursday. I think we would have found out by now if there had been a call. I just think that the sources close to Sussex might have leaked that out.
Or do you not think there's a possibility of, look, there will be a call, but for God's sake, Harry, if you say anything. Do you know what I mean? It could have been something like that.
It could be.
Wait for it.
Still think we would have found out about it. I really do. You know, because it's not actually saying something to say a call took place. You know, that's kind of a reasonable thing to leak out. I just think they would have done. So I personally don't believe a call took place.
Oh, it's still such a sensitive topic, isn't it, Rebecca?
It is, and look, I'm going to be cards on the table. I don't know whether a call took place or not, but what I do know is the feeling around it. And I wrote a big piece for the Mail on Saturday, Harry at 40, and I
Are you serious?
address this issue in it. And part of the problem is, I think the relationship between a parent and a child is very different to the one of siblings. So we can completely understand why William feels, you know, very aggrieved at what Harry has done. It's slightly more complicated for Charles. He is angry and he is hurt, but he's still his son at the end of the day, which is why I've always said, you know, much as he is keeping distance at the moment, he would never entirely shut that door to him. But one thing I did
Here it comes.
find out that I wrote about was how really disappointed the King was back in November when Harry did call him to wish him not just happy 75th birthday, but also his children did a little video singing happy birthday to the